Hey, hello everybody. Good to have you with us on Red Barn Radio. I'm Brad Becker. Tonight we are again in our 21st season of Red Barn Radio when we welcome you to show number 794. Our guest this evening is Tyler Nail. Tyler is a songwriter, singer, multi-instrumentalist, and performer. According to Ear to the Ground Music, his writing is comfortable and unpretentious, just like Americana ought to be. I like that. Tyler Nail's career began in his hometown of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, when he was in his late teens. Since then, Nail has toured much of the eastern United States, sharing bills with such act as, listen to this, the Hackensaw Boys, Caleb Caudle, who's been on the program, and Jim Avett. Welcome, Tyler Nail, to Red Barn Radio.
I've been at the mercy of hellhounds and highways, and I will be again. I was born in the summer, I was barely alive. A half-broken collar and blue swollen eyes. Got chewed up in churches till I turned 22. And the devil behind me said, come try to find me. Don't mind if I do. I worked on a few farms, got sunburned and tan. I worked on a few boats that never left land. Worked storefronts and rooftops in days long since gone. Yeah, I'd be in the ringer if not for the acre where I made my home. We got far as Texas, Michigan, and Maine. We rode through the sunshine, the snow, and the rain. The tears and the tall tales were worth every mile. But when it was over, I needed a summer to rest for a while. I gave up on Mary, pills and cocaine. I stuck with the bottle, the smoke and the flame. If they get me before I can set them aside, yeah, well, I'll go down swinging hard as a hellion, and I'll claim that I tried. I laid down beside every demon I could find. I soaked up the torture and I left them behind. And when I found the devil, it hit like the wind. He wasn't before me, not laying beside me. He was under my skin. hellhounds and highways, and I will be again. I said I've been at the mercy of hellhounds and highways, and I will be again.
Good evening and welcome to Red Barn Radio. Wherever in the world you're listening, welcome to Roots Music Southern Style. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. Red Barn Radio is supported by Visit Lex, Lexington, Kentucky's Convention and Visitors Bureau. More information on what Lexington has to offer is at visitlex.com. LexArts, Lexington, Kentucky's premier cultural development, advocacy, and fundraising organization, working for the development of a strong and vibrant arts community as a means of enhancing the quality of life in Central Kentucky. Follow Red Barn Radio on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Here's the host of Red Barn Radio to tell us more about tonight's performers.
Our guest this evening is Tyler Nail. Around 2019, Tyler took a hiatus. I'm going to start again. Our guest this evening is Tyler Nail. Around 2019, Tyler took a hiatus from touring and focused exclusively on writing and recording. In the spring of 2021, Nail began reemerging with his well-received haunting single, Someday, which indicated a return to the Americana stylings that he's associated with. In the fall of 2021, Tyler Nail released his latest album, Devil, which is the most edgy and gothic take on Americana that the artist has released thus far. Welcome, Tyler Nail.
So I've broken the songs into segments for the evening. And this first segment is a lot of older songs of mine. This one is about when this one was inspired by when I first moved to this place in Rural Hall, North Carolina, called the Red House. The song's called Red House. By the muddy river and the blacktop road, she runs south into the coast, and he runs north past Ohio. Oh, Father Time, why you changing everything? I'm looking for the light, but it never stays the same. Oh, son of mine, aren't you looking for something? How you gonna find it if you always stay the same? we'll spend our love and save our souls and live out on a gravel road. Blackbirds singing in the light of day. Look too fast, they'll fly away. Lock the door and blow out the light. Blackbird sings in the dead of night. Oh, Father Time, why you changing everything? I'm looking for the light, but it never stays the same. Oh, son of mine, aren't you looking for something? How you gonna find it if you always stay the same? My grandfather looked at me. He said, son, what are you gonna be? I couldn't look him in the eye. I bowed my head and told a lie. I wonder if he saw me now. Could he say that he was proud? Would he fall out of his chair? Or would he try and cut my hair? Oh, Father Time, why you changing everything? I'm looking for the light, but it never stays the same. Oh, son of mine, aren't you looking for something? How you gonna find it if you always stay the same? How you gonna find it if you always stay the same? How you gonna find it if you always stay the same? And I'll just keep rolling until the next spot, eh? All right. Okay. I said this segment was about family, right? Or did I? Oh, I think I said old songs too, which it is. It's old songs. Old family. Okay. Right. Okay, so this song, I really love imagery, and I really love nostalgia, and I don't know, picturesque writing, I guess. And when my grandmother died, this song was kind of me wrapping my head around trying to understand everything that her life had consisted of that I wasn't even aware of, you know. I understand her as a person who lived. So this song's called Cussing at a Neon Sign. It's a shame you have to go. I wish that you could stick around a little longer. I'm not ready to go home. I'd rather get another round, something a little stronger. Will you tell me once again the story of a little kid in tobacco fields, cussing at a neon sign and carving up a made-up name in a driving wheel? Every year that got away, every word you ever dared to pray that fell apart, every face you're thinking of, every time you thought you fell in love and it broke your heart. Tell me about the time a pair of kids were running round an apple farm, smoking daddy's cigarettes and hiding mama's garden gloves underneath their arms. And that night you parked a car to listen to radio by the trestle bridge and whispered, I don't want to go to Sunday school tomorrow, and kissing on the lips. It's a shame you have to go. I wish that you could stick around a little longer. I'm not ready to go home. I'd rather get another round, something a little stronger. I'm gonna do a song I haven't done this song in forever in a performance space. It's called Saltwater, and this was kind of where this song came about, kind of when I discovered a fascination with imagery and what imagery does in a song and what it does in poetry and stuff. And I just really, as you'll notice, I really took it and ran with it for this one. But this is called Saltwater. Love was a pretty poison, and I a little child, and she was a silver teaspoon that sent the poison wild, and I got fever was stronger than a stream, and she feared the mighty ocean and swore she'd never leave and I'd stay with her. Always be the first to throw a stone. Never leaving well enough alone. Love was a bed of flowers that made a fool of me, and I stayed in bed for hours, too blinded still to see that they were dying. And she was a pretty river, as pretty as can be, and I was a river boulder, too heavy for the sea, and I was crying. Never going anywhere but home. Never going anywhere alone. Love was a bloody boulder with only feathers left, and she was a mighty killer that took the bluebird's breath and left me bleeding. And she was a pretty water, as pretty as can be, and she left for bigger water, still flowing over me, and she's still leaving. Running like a dog out of the rain. Scared of staying scared to say my name. Love was the tallest mountain I ever tried to climb, and she was a heavy snow wind that stopped me every time I tried to kiss her. And she was a pretty ocean, as pretty as can be, and she left me in the river, still looking for the sea, and God, I miss her. Muddy water holding down my feet. Meant for missing, never meant to keep. Haven't done that one in a long time. This one that I'm about to do, I didn't do for a very long time as well. And when I started traveling again and playing again, well, I started doing this one again. It's off of the first album I ever really pressed and released and worked on hard, and I guess it's been people's favorite. So this is Northern Carolina. I've been up and down this highway. Every city looks the same. Everybody knows my story. Nobody knows my name. I've been west of California. I've seen the hills in Tennessee, but that Northern Carolina is the place God meant for me. Is the place God meant for me. Any place is good for living, but the road's nowhere to die. Will you bury me in Carolina when I tell this world goodbye? When I tell this world goodbye. Lost my money in the city to a man who had a knife. Yeah, he made off with my money, but he didn't take my life. Met a man from old Virginia with a smile on his mouth when he sang songs of old John Henry. Wished he'd never left the South. Wished he'd never left the South. Any place is good for living, but the road's nowhere to die. Will you bury me in Carolina when I tell this world goodbye? When I tell this world goodbye. Met a girl in New York City. She played piano pretty good, and I promised we'd get married, but I knew we never would. 'Cause I've been west of California. I've seen the hills in Tennessee, but that Northern Carolina is the place God meant for me. place is good for living, but the road's nowhere to die. Will you bury me in Carolina when I tell this world goodbye? When I tell this world goodbye? When I tell this world goodbye?
Well, our guest this evening singing these beautiful songs and playing beautiful guitar too is Tyler Nail. And Tyler is here with us from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and he just wound his way up here this afternoon through some snow, he tells us, in West Virginia, and we're glad you made it to us, and what a great time. Nice to have you with us.
I'm stoked to be here.
Oh,
Thank
good.
you for having me.
Good. Well, it's been fun, talking to you a couple times over the last few weeks and getting to know you a little bit, and like to get the audience in with me, getting to know you as well. So let's go back to that time when you started off with music. Were you living in North Carolina at the time? Did you grow up there?
Kind of like just getting started with music?
Yeah, well, it says in your bio that you started sort of professionally when you were in your late teens. Mm-hmm. Were you playing music before you started professionally? And
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was a drummer in the church I grew up in, and that was my first exposure to music. And drums are my first instrument. So as a kid, I would, as a 5-year-old after church, I would play on his drums and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And, I'd play on basketballs and pillows and pots and pans in the house. That was my first introduction to music. And even as a 10-year-old, I would write songs and play drums to it. And that was like in my head. I could hear what the song was, but had no language or no instrument that really supported composition around that. So I started messing with guitar when I was 16, and that was when it really started to come together. And I messed with guitar a lot from the age 16 to 19, and 19 was when I really started pursuing it.
Huh. And did you do that with lessons, or were you self-taught?
I was self-taught.
Huh.
Yeah, we just had them laying around. Like, we had, my stepfather is a banjo player, and for some reason we would have a guitar laying around, and I would just mess with it and play one note, like one string melodies like that. And I think that's how I got used to touching a guitar. And then by the time I was 16 and I got my own guitar, it just kind of happened really quickly after that. Everything just, I taught myself very quickly how to play.
Was your stepdad traditional sort of bluegrass, resonator banjo type Scruggs player, or?
Yeah, through and through.
Oh, he was. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. And so, at what point did you adopt the two-finger style of guitar playing that seems to be just the way you do all your songs? Yeah,
that was probably, I want to say, I guess it wasn't right away, I want to say like a year and a half, 2 years into, no, I was older. So probably around age 18 or 19. So maybe, 2 or 3 years into playing, I was fascinated by how people could finger pick, and I just wouldn't stop messing with it until I started doing what I meant to. And one day it just switched. It went from not being able to finger pick at all to one day it all made sense.
Yeah, right. I get that.
Yeah.
But you never started with using the three?
I never did. I've been doing this number all the while, and I've gotten now to where I can play with more fingers, but as you've noticed from my playing tonight, I don't know. I've learned how to really just like play long, drawn out melodies with just 2 fingers.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that's how it worked out.
Yeah, well, you do it. I mean, I'm not going to call it busy because I don't like that word really for guitar playing. It's just, it's really colorful. I mean, you're doing a lot of stuff and, like you say, really supporting the melody of the tune. I love your instrumental breaks and just sort of reintroducing that melody. It's really lovely.
I'm glad.
Yeah, yeah. And so then you're 18 or 19, and at what point are you at feeling like writing is happening for you?
Oh, writing. I mean,
Yeah.
when I was 16, so when I was in 6th grade, a couple years, like as a kid,
Good.
I fell in love with writing.
How did that happen?
Well, it's kind of it sounds bad, I guess, or it makes me sound questionable when I say it out loud. But so there was a spell there where education was like really not a focus in my life. It was, things got weird, family falling apart, stuff like that. So
Okay.
I didn't. So anyway, so a couple years there, I just didn't like school was kind of almost like it didn't happen.
Were you not were you like showing up? Or?
There was a year where I basically wasn't in school. Is a true story of it. So when I went back and when I got back into the flow of things, I was pretty behind. I ended up in a class where I got special attention because they thought I didn't know how to read, and they thought I couldn't comprehend what I was reading. So anyway, I got special attention, and they basically put essays in front of me and said, like, write things. And then I would write nonstop. I just fell in love with it. And this kind of revealed something. It revealed that I wasn't really deficient in this department. I wasn't unable to comprehend literature. I just it was something else, So anyway, I fell in love with writing in 6th grade, and that was like kind of my outlet, my first introduction to, I think, having my own voice or something. So
Yeah.
then I carried that around with me all those years. I was kind of like writing big projects. And then when I started messing with guitar, I didn't really expect it to be as a songwriter. It was just something I was doing. But as soon as I started making noises with it, that love for writing just kind of fell right in with it. And I just started writing from the time I was 16 on. And I've written, hundreds of songs now. And it's just been kind of what I found was where I make the most sense to myself. I feel like it's the thing that I'm best at,
Huh. Was there a particular teacher who you feel sort of brought to life the idea of literary devices like imagery and metaphor?
No, those teachers would have been probably songwriters, but I mean, my 6th grade teacher was Miss Shackelford, and she was the one that made me fall in love with writing just on its own, just like making an argument, making a point, like expressing myself. But then, when it comes to imagery and other devices I love, that was immersing myself in other songwriters' works and just kind of noticing what was so unique about them. And imagery is one of those things that I think is like in this room, like we could all sit here and describe the things that we see in here, and that would be kind of the combination of all those things would be unlike most people would ever write down in another room they might be in. These same paintings, this same exact floor color and stuff. Imagery is one of those things that makes a piece unique, I think.
Yeah. It's interesting to me that you can still call up that 6th grade teacher's name, Miss Shackelford. Is that someone that you still have connection with, or have you ever had an opportunity to go back to her as an adult and tell her how much she impacted you?
I never have.
Is
Nope.
if she's still there? Or?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to her since 5th grade, 6th grade, something like that.
Well, I don't mean to, like throw any guilt at you
Oh,
for
no,
that
no.
or anything else, but I think it's lovely that you remember that person and who she was in your schooling.
Yeah, I mean, it was, it's impactful when you, at 5th grade, you are under the impression like maybe you're not doing as well as other people, but then there's this figure that draws something out of you that's kind of better, that makes you feel like you're excelling. You kind of remember those people,
Yeah, yeah. So talk about your musical influences? Like, for instance, just when we were talking about your style of guitar playing, is there a guitarist in particular who you feel really turned you on as a young person to the acoustic guitar?
There were a couple of contemporary guys that were, because, everybody's road with music. It takes all sorts of twists and turns, and I had been exposed to acoustic music prior to what I'm about to say, in the form of like Johnny Cash and Hank Williams, people like that, whose records I might have found over time and kind of liked and romanticized. But when I was coming out of high school and coming out of a phase of listening to more like heavy music, I was finding contemporary artists like Ray LaMontagne. There was this Canadian guy named Jeremy Fisher, who I just listened to on the way up here some. Some other people, I'm sure like Jack Johnson was kind of hitting the scene back then. Like there was this little acoustic bubbling kind of happening prior to the eruption, I think, that took place a couple years later with Old Crow and with the Avett Brothers and stuff. There was something that preceded that was songwriters. And I think I was connecting with those guys, and it felt like a more mature version of music. It felt like a door, like something that I could attain, that I wasn't going to start playing in, I don't know, some kind of screamo club with people, like with some kind of 5-piece heavy screaming band. This seemed like something I could really sink my teeth into and devote time to and really do. And I don't know, it made sense to me, so I started down that path.
Yeah. So move into your 20s then. So we moved through your teens a little bit. So then into your 20s, I guess at that point in time, you decided to, when you finished high school, did you decide you're going to sort of bypass college?
I went to, there's a college, there's a couple of different Guilford Tech colleges, and one of them is in Jamestown, North Carolina, and they have a recording engineering program / performance, all this stuff. I enrolled there, and I did a semester, and I remember looking around, and I remember thinking, my recording engineering teacher is here teaching this, and he wanted to be like a rock star guitarist, and he's here instead. And my piano teacher wants to be a vocalist, but he's here instead, and he went through this program. I started to have these feelings of doubt, like, I don't know if learning recording engineering is going to help me be a successful performer. I don't know if pursuing, I don't know if making sure I'm up to speed in my math classes is going to help me learn how to grow an audience. So I just became disenchanted with that program after a semester, and I said, I'm working a job I hate, and I'm going to school with not a guarantee that it's going to help me cultivate an audience. I think I'm just going to say screw both these things and start performing all the time. And so that's what I did when I was 19, and did that on into my mid-20s.
But so in retrospect, though, you must see see the value of learning some of those skills, for the professional working musician.
Yeah, I'm not anti those skills, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think everything I've learned as a recording engineer has been through collaboration more than anything else. And I think lighting technicians and recording engineers and people who want to be on the side of production, I think it really makes sense for them to go through a course like that. I don't think you can, but I wanted to be an artist. Like, those things are beneficial to do, but I wanted to be an artist, and I don't think that those courses were helping me pursue art. So I wanted to just orient myself toward that for a while.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as I worked as an artist, I got to work with engineers and with lighting technicians and with people who knew what they were doing, and I got to learn from them still. So
did you in any way feel, not to beat a dead horse, did you in any way feel better equipped to tell those folks what it was that you wanted because of some of the training that you got, the technical training that you got in that program?
I'd have to say no, only because that program would have been great had I stuck with it. But I was just at the entry level, and like they tested me, and I I just kind of, I didn't take it as seriously as I could have. So, you know, like I pretty much missed out on the opportunity that those courses were.
So there was no Miss Shackelford there in
No.
that program who was going to inspire you to sort of understand and appreciate the artistry of that.
No, yeah, I had none of that. I didn't see production as an art at all at the time. And of course I grasp it as that
Yeah.
now, but at the time it was just like, that's keeping me from what I mean to do, and all I mean to do is write songs.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, just and I was 19, you know, and so
Right.
I wanted it that simple.
Sure, I get it. Hey, I'm talking with Tyler Nail. He's here on Red Barn Radio tonight. We're so glad to have him with us. We're going to get back to more music now, and then we'll get back to some more conversation a little bit later on. Welcome back, Tyler Nail.
This is the Texas portion of the night.
Texas family.
This is Texas family, so you could say that. This is a couple songs about you know, travel, about geography, about Texas in particular. This one's called Back to Maine. I wanna go back to Maine in a cabin keeping dry in the summer rain. I wanna meet you in the pine, just a couple stone throws south of the nation line. I've been looking for the way I used to go. It's not coming back to me. I wanna go way down south and taste the Texas desert on my mouth. I wanna be in the sun like a couple bad banditos on the run. I've been looking for the way I used to go. It's not coming back to me. And I've been looking for a road I used to know, and it's not where it ought to be. I wanna make it to the coast where the sky gets black and the water gets your ghost. I wanna throw it in the sea and see if the moonlight brings it back to me. Well, I've been looking for the way I used to go. It's not coming back to me. And I've been looking for a road I used to know, and it's not where it ought to be. 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 I wanna find a way back home. I'm tired of running and being all alone. I wanna be free again, like a dandy flower just blowing in the wind. Well, I've been looking for the way I used to go. It's not coming back to me. I've been looking for a road I used to know. It's not where it ought to be, 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 where it used to be, where it ought to be. All right, I'm going to do a brand new one that I've never done. It's probably the newest song I have. We'll see if it goes smoothly or not. This one's called I Want to Go to Texas. I love Carolina with her long and flowing hills and the little farm I live on, with the old tobacco fields. But something in the Southwest has been calling out to me, and it shakes me like a pine tree, even though I'm rooted like a hickory. And I want to go to Texas with her big Salvation skies and the desert in the evening, when the stars come out at night. And I want to drive the highway, think about the days gone by. I want to go to Texas, and I'm still not quite sure why. Mountains that rest against my home, and I love to go and see them when I need some time alone. And I love the smell of autumn and all the red and yellow leaves, and I love to see them spinning when they come falling from the trees. But I want to go to Texas, it's just something in my veins. I want to see the power in the cold El Nino rains. I want to roam the Southland till I make it home again. I want to go to Texas, and I'm still not quite sure when. I've got some friends there who could tell me where to go, way down in Austin or down in San Antonio. and I love my life here. But God, I miss the open road, and I wouldn't have to stay gone. But then again, what do I know? But I want to go to Texas. And maybe it's a good time now, with no chain around my ankle, no sweat upon my brow, and Bob Wells is the king there. And I'm not looking for the crown, but I want to go to Texas, and I'm still not quite sure how. All right, so the last of the Texas material for that evening is I got to spend a lot of time in Texas at one point in my life, and I guess I fell in love with it. And so this is an older song about that time, and this one's called San Antonio. On the Gulf of Mexico, and at the time it seemed I had to let her go, and I went north into the place I call my home. But I'm lonely for my lady, and I need her for to save me. San Antonio, promise me you'll leave the light on. Promise you won't be too far gone. And I swear if it's the last thing that I do, I'm coming back to you, San Antonio. Promise me you'll leave the light on. And before the year is through, I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back to you. She said she'd love me till I made it back to her. And she's always seemed to be a lady of her word. But by now I think I'd give up everything for a little diamond ring and another place to sing. San Antonio, promise me you'll leave the light on. Promise you won't be too far gone. And I swear if it's the last thing that I do, I'm coming back to you, San Antonio. Promise me you'll leave the light on. And before the year is through, I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back me Mobile, call me Sunset, New Orleans. Call me Houston, call me any little thing. But please wait for me, please don't take another hand. I'll be your better man as quickly as I can. San Antonio, promise me you'll leave the light on. Promise you won't be too far gone. And I swear if it's the last thing that I do, I'm coming back to you, San Antonio. Promise me you'll leave the light on. And before the night is through, I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back to you. Before the night is through, I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back to you.
Hey, we've got lots more music and conversation with Tyler Nell, but hold your horses. I got to tell you a few things. I want to remind listeners that Red Barn live streams both tonight's and on any Wednesday remain available online for you to view at your convenience on the Red Barn YouTube channel. Our live video stream is also available on the weku.org website, as is our audio stream. Compliments of WGAD.net in Central New York. Don't miss a single episode of this program, and be sure to tell your friends why they should be doing exactly what you're doing tonight, which is listening to our live stream. Tell them what you like about Red Barn Radio, why they should be doing it too. Red Barn Radio will not be streaming for the next 2 weeks. It's holiday time. We're having our Thanksgiving break off, and it's our hope that you will be having a terrific holiday yourself. The following week, we are producing our annual Christmas show, a Winter Solstice 2022, which we produce for radio and television. The program will be released closer to the holiday season. Winter Solstice 2022 will feature harp guitarist, and composer Muriel Anderson, the first woman to be declared a national fingerstyle champion. It's going to be a really special program with Muriel. Red Barn Radio's live stream will return December 7 with Blue Twisted Steel from Charleston, West Virginia. We are so looking forward to seeing you back then. Let's get back to tonight's Red Barn Radio program. We welcome you live on our social media platforms, broadcasting from the Arts Place Performance Hall here in the grand city of Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome back, Tyler Nell.
He'll be right there. So y'all probably know the old story of John Henry, yeah?
I did it one time.
Well, so this song was inspired by the legend of John Henry. It's kind of a modernized take on it, and it's a twist on it. And, well, you'll get the idea, but this is called 9 Pound Hammer. Daddy didn't have no 9-pound hammer, but he worked himself just the same. Daddy did the job, Daddy made the paper, but they don't know Daddy's name. He could throw an axe, he could throw a hammer, he could pick and shovel too. There wasn't much at all working men would pay for that my daddy couldn't do. But Daddy couldn't beat the steamer, no matter what he tried. No, Daddy couldn't beat the steamer until the day he died. Until the day he died. Daddy raced the drill, clearing through the mountain, and came out the other side. He laid his hammer down, blew it, kissed him mama, and he laid right down and died. See, Daddy must have known he lost it to the steamer. You could see it on his face. They laid his body down, heated up the steamer, and they put it in his place. 'Cause Daddy couldn't beat the steamer, no matter what he tried. No, Daddy couldn't beat the steamer until the day he died. Until the day he died. Mama needed food, Mama needed money, and she needed help from me. Times were getting hard, they were getting harder, we were poor as we could be. Well, I could throw an axe, I could throw a hammer, but they said I was a kid. I finally found a job, heating up the steamer, making half what Daddy did. 'Cause Daddy couldn't beat the steamer, no matter what he tried. No, Daddy couldn't beat the steamer until the day he died. No, Daddy couldn't beat the steamer, no matter what he tried. No, Daddy couldn't beat the steamer until the day he died. Until the day he died. Until the day he died. They killed John Henry, they killed John Henry, they killed John Henry, but they won't kill me, no. They killed John Henry, they killed John Henry, they killed John Henry, but they won't kill me. They killed John Henry, they killed John Henry, they killed John Henry, but they won't kill me, no. They killed John Henry, they killed John Henry, they killed John Henry, but they won't kill me. Okay, I think we are on the family portion of the material tonight now. This song It's called Someday. This song, my grandfather turned 90 this week, and he's not exactly all, he's not with us really. He's not aware of what's happening around him. And it's sad, and it's tough, and it's mortality. It's what mortality is. And through this process, he at least has remembered my grandmother, and that's what kind of inspired this song, I guess. Thinking about that, thinking about time and relationships and what they are and what they do, what they manage to do sometimes. Someday, if I live to old age, and my hair turns to gray, and my memory fades, someday, when I'm no longer young, and the damage is done, and my race has been run, someday I may not know who I am, I may not know where I've been, but oh, I know I'll still love you then. Someday I may wander the trees with pain in my knees, fighting to breathe. Someday I may look at my hands and not understand what's happened to them. Someday I may drift off to sea, I may float in the breeze, but oh, I know you'll be there with me. Someday, if I live to old age, and my hair turns to gray, and my memory fades, someday, when push comes to shove, may fade in the dust, but oh, I know I'll still be your love. I've got one more about grandparents. You mentioned earlier I was on a hiatus for a while, and amidst that and trying to figure out what I was up to and trying to sort of ask myself what I was even trying to come back to. While I was focused on writing, while I was focused on recording, I ended up writing this song, and it was one that meant a lot to me. It's called Way to Live. Well, my grandfather's grandfather had hands made out of leather, and his arms were white as snow upon a hill. Through the dusty storms and thunder, he'd worked the fields all summer that were left him in his father's will. And he bore a son named Henry, who bore a son named Henry, who had 4 sons as different as can be. And as long as he was able, he kept food upon the table, enough to feed his 4 sons' families. Will you go to church on Sunday? Be in the field on Monday? Will you be sure not to take more than you give? Will you grow the things you need? Reap the harvest, sow the seed? Will you show the next to come the way to live? My grandmother's grandmother had faith unlike another, that she gave to her entire family. My grandmother fled the island when the communists went violent, and set out on a life of being free. And she worked hotels in Miami, D.C. and New York City, and moved to Carolina for to stay. And her parents fled the island, moved in the house beside them, and thank God for their family every day. Will you go to church on Sunday? Be in the field on Monday? Will you be sure not to take more than you give? Will you grow the things you need? Reap the harvest, sow the seed? Will you show the next to come the way to live? If I ever am a father with a wife, a son, and daughter, well, I hope that I'll be worthy of the name. There was so much blood and passion that was spent to make it happen, and I hope that I can carry on the flame. But I don't go to church on Sunday, I work 9 to 5 on Monday, and sometimes I take way more than I give. I don't grow the things I need, I have yet to sow the seed. I'm still looking for the way I'm supposed to live. Yeah, I'm still looking for the way I'm supposed to live.
Wow, that's a beautiful song, Tyler.
Thank you.
I think that's the first song of yours that I heard. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, like I say, that one means a lot to me. Just captures a lot of what I think makes my family special, you know. I'm glad you like it.
Huh. Well, you're a big part of what makes your family special. You know, you were talking earlier about Texas, that you had a chance to spend some time living down there, and that sort of inspired your Texas trilogy there, the 3 tunes you did there. Talk about your time there, and also other places where you've traveled that have sort of impacted you as an artist.
Man, I feel like Americana, you know, Americana in my life is almost like a way of just like looking at culture and turning it into art or something, or maybe just looking at history and turning it into art or something. And locations are so important to that. You know, they all have their cuisine, they have their music history, they have their landscapes, and they just bring out different stuff, you know. And going from the foothills in North Carolina to Texas, these flatlands, desert, scorpions on the ground, Mexican eagles in the trees, you know, prickly pears. I remember I was dating a girl that was going to school there, and that was kind of how I ended up going down there to spend time. And we went hiking on this trail, and we saw some prickly pears, and I thought, how exciting, I'll just grab one and play with it. And had no idea it was going to fill my hand up with all these like invisible needles, you know. So had to spend the night figuring out how to get those out. Locations, they just put something in you. And when my buddy Caleb was living in New Orleans, I remember going down there actually on the way to Texas. I stopped in New Orleans to see him.
Caleb Cottle?
Caleb Cottle, yeah. And he took us around the town that night, and we saw like a jazz band marching through the town, and it felt exactly as romantic as you hope New Orleans might feel, you know, just foggy, ghostly streets and spicy food, and this jazz band, this giant monster band marching around.
Right.
And I don't know, there's just something about that for a songwriter, I like to try to look at those portraits of a place and capture those in some way, capture those in really small details in terms of chord progressions, in terms of the words I use, and just like a way of capturing whatever, some kind of picture of New Orleans, some kind of picture of Texas, some kind of picture of Maine, stuff like that.
Yeah. And you like to incorporate that into the content that you record, especially with a band? You know, I listened to the album. I can't remember. I understand Blonde Girls is in it. So
yeah.
What's that album called?
It's technically called, according to Spotify, it's called Life Lessons from Blonde Girls.
Yes, right.
It's supposed to just be called Life Lessons, but there was
Can't you change
issue.
that?
It was like something like some rule with Spotify at the time where the name of the album had to be consistent with like the cover image that they got, and I couldn't change the image. It was something very frustrating because it's a double album. So one disc was called Life Lessons from Blonde Girls, one disc was called Life Lessons from Vixens, and together it was meant to be Life Lessons, but oh well.
Well, I really want listeners to check that album out because it sort of shows another side of you.
It sure does.
Yeah, it does. And talk a little bit about the songs that comprise that album and what you had going on there. There's so much rich material there. I really like it a lot.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a monster project.
Seems like it.
As you can tell from, you know, my comfort zone is probably the poetic, the beautiful, the Americana, you know, that world. And the Life Lessons album was very different from that. I felt as though I was in a personal crisis, in a philosophical crisis with my upbringing. So, for some context for that, I guess, I was raised with a religious identity that I lost over time, that I kind of gave up, that resulted in some confusion and some sort of when you get to decide your identity, when you get to decide who you are, there's all these options for that. How do you know what's right, And with the Life, the reason it's a double album with two different names is it kind of represents two different possible identities that I was playing with.
Yeah.
One that was motivated by certain things and acted a certain way and used a certain language, and another one that was kind of different than that. And it's an expression of those identities, and it's not exactly me. It's me trying to figure out what I could be. It's hard to explain other than just doing it through music, but that's the closest I can come to, I think.
Yeah, well, it seems like your quest continues, right?
Sure.
And your newest album, Devil,
yeah.
What's that album explore? Aside from the obvious.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, Life Lessons kind of puts two identities on the table. I think Devil is about almost like a total absence of identity. I think it's like nothingness. It's almost more like nihilism or something. But it's different than that. It's more like nihilism was the starting point. Feeling like I had nothing, feeling like I was just out and I didn't know where I was anymore. That was like the starting point. But the Devil album is actually a little misleading in its title. There's some really optimistic stuff in it. There's some encouraging messages in there. I released 3 songs as an EP on streaming platforms. I released the full LP on my website, and I kind of contained some of that material just for people who really were going to devote the $5 to hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it's very private. It's very it's more private, I feel like, than most of my music. And it wasn't something I wanted to share with the whole world. So I put out 3 songs that I was willing to share with the whole world. They're a little darker, a little edgier, a little rougher. But the Devil thing was more like, it's more like finding positivity despite the temptations there might be to relate to the dark side of life.
Is the Devil EP a solo acoustic thing, or is it full band?
It's all me, but I recorded all the stuff, so it sounds like full band. I played some percussion and some bass and stuff, but it's all just me.
Yeah, so drums, bass, guitar, are those your instruments? Do you play other instruments as well?
I play I guess what we would all probably refer to as dobro. I play a Hawaiian version of dobro called a Weisenborn, if you're familiar with that.
Like Ben Harper.
Yeah, like
Weisenborn.
Sorry about that, Ed, or whoever. I think it's Ed.
That would be Ed up there.
Sorry,
to apologize
Ed.
to.
I touched your microphone. Yes, like Ben Harper, like Xavier Rudd, a hollow dobro. I play that. I play mandolin. I'm toying with the idea of taking some fiddle lessons. I don't know about that because I'm good with this with frets. I don't know if I can mess with something with a bow, but I might try it.
Yeah.
And banjo.
Oh, open back or Scruggs?
Open back, preferably. Yeah.
Nice, old time.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your radio program.
Sure.
And that's called Red House, right?
It sure is.
Another red thing. So, what do you like about talking to people, doing interviews?
Well, I was talking to some of the crew about in my town in Winston-Salem. Some of our community around the arts feels like, to me and to a lot of people, like it kind of decreased over the years since maybe 2017. And then of course 2020 didn't help anything. And I just was motivated partially to try to get people talking about art again and get people knowing what is happening around them in our community again. But of course, I mean, I love conversations with artists, particularly if I can manage to pull them into a territory that is about art instead of about the modern day that we live in and about things that divide us, things that we see differently or whatever. I mean, it's cool to see things differently, but I guess part of it was like, hey, let's all remember that there's sometimes we feel tempted, I guess, to feel like screw it all, and we're so frustrated with how things are, and maybe we should spend some time relating to each other about how good it feels to create things instead. And that was kind of where it started.
Yeah, and you interview more than just songwriters, right? You interview others as well.
Yeah, it was. I love talking to songwriters, but I've interviewed now entrepreneurs and farmers and business people from Winston-Salem and other kinds of musicians. So it's gotten a lot broader.
Huh. If people were to go and check out your radio broadcast, is there a particular episode you'd like for them to listen to that it's really memorable for you?
Wow, that's a great question. I will say I don't remember the number. If they find the one with Jonathan Green, I think that one's a great one. If they find one with Timothy Roberts started a drum manufacturing independent company in Winston-Salem, and he makes beautiful, beautiful drums. They should look up that one just so they can find his name to find his companies, because he makes great stuff. Or just binge all of them. I've put out 50 episodes so far.
Oh, way to go!
Just watch all of them.
How long has that been going on?
1 year at the start of this month.
Wow, that's a lot of episodes in 1 year. Way to go!
Yeah,
terrific.
It's actually more. It's like the full 52-ish, but I do bonus like side episodes too. So, I do one a week.
That's awesome. Tyler, it's been great having you here on Red Barn. Yeah,
I'm stoked to be here, and I loved the fact that we both are we have red structures in our branding. So I thought it was meant to be.
Yeah, all right. Hey, let's get back to some more music with Tyler Nail.
This is one of those hopeful songs off of Devil, and it's called You're Gonna Find Me. I read your letter 20 times over. Smiled like Betty when you signed your name. What could be better? Thought of you laughing, tripping on cactus, burning pavement like a biker gang. Baby, have at it. Windows down, music on, some old lost highway song. The road is furious and long, hard to handle right and wrong. You'll be beautiful and gone, and if you find your way back home, you're gonna find me. I wasn't a hero till I met the devil at the bottom of the same old well. Tell him I said hello. Maybe you'll ramble out of the shadows, riding shotgun through the desert wind, and you'll be a hero. Windows down, music on, some old lost highway song. The road is furious and long, hard to handle gonna find me. Honey, get out there, somewhere or nowhere. Trash the map and let the midnight moon light up your long hair. Scorpion lady, Tanqueray baby, falling star against a cold black sky, shining like crazy. I'll still remember, still read your letter, think about you every single day, for worse or for better. Okay. Now this one is another in the category of songs I haven't done in years. I just thought it was a special occasion and I would pull out some things that, you know, I haven't done in a long time. This one's called Willow Tree. I'm going to just straighten that out a little bit. Tree, Father himself planted for me when I was a brave and bloody child, dirty and bruised, naked and wild, young and growing older. And Mother made a picture and she keeps it in her home. And Father made a memory out of me, ever ready only when the willow's dead and gone. They'll still know what it felt like to be free. The wind underneath the willow tree, and old river birds, shiny and free, harrowed and weeping over men, but stealing our bread straight from our hands, young and growing older. And how are we to know a little seed would turn into a weeping willow tree, whose every breath would turn to bitter sweet, when once the tree was just as small as me. Herself dancing with me, lost like a penny in a jar, lost in her face. I thank God we are young and growing older, love underneath a willow tree that Jesus himself painted for me, ripping my heart to open wide, shaking the truth and praying for time to be young and growing older, young and growing older, young and growing older still. All right, so full disclosure, this one has some profanities, and I haven't actually learned how to do it without those in it, so we're gonna figure it out as we go, I guess. I'll try to edit it appropriately for our audience. But anyway, this is the only song I really do off of the Life Lessons album. The song is called Hey. Gonna die someday, and there's not a lot to say to make that stuff seem any more for real. But if I'm gonna die someday and give all my time away, there's a couple things I need while I'm still here. A beautiful girl to know, who lets me feel miserable, whose body makes me lie awake at night, someone who seldom speaks without some profanity, and doesn't think in shades of black and white. Is that so much to ask? And hey, you've got such a perfect way of salvaging my sanity and keeping me from eating my own tail. And I've got some poetry, an average disdain for the man, and a penny you can throw into the well. And life isn't made of dreams, it's just as bad as it seems. A bunch of people building swimming pools in hell. But it makes sense to me if we've gotta burn, my love. At least we'll have a story worth a tell. Does that make sense to you? With all of your fire, and with all of my wine, we could send it up in flames, my girl, and have ourselves a real hell of a time. Hey, let's get on an airplane, get ourselves 2 coach tickets for Hollywood, and let's just go, and we'll hit it big someday. Buy our folks a couple houses, get them living good. Or hey, let's get on a one-way train, find ourselves a little cabin somewhere west of here, and bid farewell to all of the music clubs and all of the theaters and the people who aren't into who we are. We'll live off of bread and wine, make movies and write novels. I'll sell knives at the local hardware store. We'll live like retired stars, grow some flowers in a garden, and sleep better than we ever have before. Does that sound good to you?
Well, there are so many people to thank for our program. First, Tyler Nail, our guest this evening. We are ever grateful for our volunteers and staff who make our production happen so beautifully each week. We want to thank all of you for listening to our webcast and watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and those listening to us on the network of Red Barn stations and media worldwide. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn's premier radio partner, Central and Eastern Kentucky's radio news leader. You can listen online at weku.org. It's your chance to hear more great live music from Red Barn Radio and WEKU, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Those of you here in the central Kentucky area, you got to be sure to check out Red Barn TV. It's our weekly program of music, now on ABC 36 WTVQ. Red Barn Radio comes to you from our home, the Arts Place Performance Hall in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. Our website has updates and further information on our guests in our program. We're on the web at redbarnradio.com. Before we close out tonight's program, let's bring back Tyler Nail.
This is a song called I've Been Thinking. I've been thinking about dying. I don't want to, but I will someday. Will there really be a heaven, or is there only hell to pay? I woke up early in the morning in an empty, lonely bed. I had a vision, the world was over, had a pounding in my head. The sun was rising through the pine trees. I sipped a coffee and I stood real still up against my cold blue window, and I watched the deer play on the hill. And I've been thinking about dying. I don't want to, but I will someday. Will there really be a heaven? Will there only be hell to pay? All my heroes who went before me faded to their own demise. Will I go out, light their fire, or live forever by surprise? There are frozen hills and mountains and wild grizzly in my dreams, and I wake up feeling crazy, and I don't know what it means. Yeah, but I've been thinking about dying. I don't want to, but I will someday. Will there really be a heaven? I said I'm sorry, but I don't need you. And off they ran. I woke up early in the morning with something pretty on my mind. I think I'm ready for the daylight. I think I'm ready to be alive. Yeah, 'cause I've been thinking about dying. I don't want to, but I will someday. And there may really be a heaven, or there may only be hell to pay. Yeah, but I've been thinking about living and how I want to the best I can. I'm no devil, I'm no angel, I'm no monster, and I'm no lamb. No, I'm no devil, I'm no angel, I'm no monster, and I'm no lamb. I swear I'm doing the best I can. I'm no monster, and I'm no lamb. I'm no martyr, I'm just a man.
All right. Tyler Nail. Well, that's all for our show for this week. You can see and hear Red Barn Radio worldwide as we stream live on the web on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern in North America. You can also listen to archive performances on Spotify and iTunes and watch mountains of video on the Red Barn Radio YouTube channel. Hey, remember this, every like, comment, share, and subscribe helps bring roots music Southern style to your neck of the woods. And finally this, if any of our featured artists are performing in your area, get out and hear them live. They need you now more than ever. From all of us here at Red Barn Radio Now to all of our friends worldwide, keep working together to be safe and healthy. And until next time, good night from Red Barn Radio. How about that, huh? Yeah, he's a beautiful songwriter, singer. Yeah. Yeah, oh, you got to hear, you got to check out this album I was talking about. It's just a really cool album. Yeah. Oh, really great. Yeah, nothing. I mean, a whole different thing. Yeah. Today? Today's your birthday? Oh, all right. Happy birthday. Do you want to record this? Okay. That's all right. Okay, quiet. All right. Tyler Nail is a songwriter, singer, multi-instrumentalist, and performer. According to Ear to the Ground Music, his writing is comfortable and unpretentious, just like Americana ought to be. Tyler Nail's career began in his hometown of Winston-Salem, North Carolina,